Hi guys, welcome back to my channel ArtsyPutsy with me Putsy, and for today's video I'm going to do another foundation review slash first impressions. It's gonna be the review on this Wet n Wild Photofocus Foundation, and I know this foundation has been around for a year at least, but I never tried this out. I don't know, maybe we have a similar skin type and you just never got around to buy this foundation and you are looking for a review, then this video might be for you. And for your information, I have a very oily, sensitive, acne prone skin. I have a lot of acne scars and redness around my face. I have like a large pitted deep acne scars. Obviously I have a lot of textures. If you want to see how this foundation works on me, just keep on watching. So I have nothing on my face right now. I haven't put any moisturizer or anything because I really want to try this foundation by itself without layering too many products before this. But I'm still going to apply some primer to my face, and the primer I'm going to use is this Monista Chafing Relief Powder Gel. I know this isn't like a completely appropriate face primer, but I always use this with my foundation and it works pretty well with my foundation, and it made my skin looks a little bit softer and kind of fill in my pores a little bit because this has a silicone in it, I believe. And I'm also going to apply my foundation with two different applicator. Yes, I'm going to apply my right side of my face with the beauty blender, and I'm going to apply the left side of my face with the brush. This is the Real Techniques sculpting brush. This is a really good brush as well for foundation. I discovered this brush because of Kathleen Lights. This is the brush she loved to use for foundation years ago. I'm just going to apply some of these on both sides of my face. My skin immediately looks very red. It usually happens to me. Every time I touch my face, it turns bright red, like I've been in the sun for way too long. But story of my life. I'm in a shade golden beige. I don't know if this is going to be too light for me, or maybe it's gonna match me. I don't know. It's very hard to buy foundation online, and I always bought my foundation online. So this is the bottle. It has 1.0 fluid ounces, 30 milliliters of products, and Wet n Wild is cruelty free. And this foundation retails for $5.99, and on their website they said that this foundation is going to make your skin look like your skin but better. They want this foundation to look really amazing, especially in photos, under sunlight, flashlights, and everything in between. This has a matte finish. It has a light diffusing complex to give your skin no filter perfection. So basically they said that this will give you a very flawless looking skin. I don't know about that, we'll see. And the applicator on this one is one thing I immediately don't really like. I mean, it has this kind of like a spatula type of applicator, and I don't really like that. But this is way better than the Maybelline Fit Me, because that one just you have to pour it out. It's quite messy, but at least this one has something. I would prefer a pump, but this is still a little bit better than nothing, right? So I'm just going to apply this to the back of my hand, this much maybe. I'm just going to apply it to the right side of my face first with my beauty blender. On second thought, I'm just going to apply the foundation straight to my face. It has like a very strange chemically scent to it. It's almost like a paint, but I don't really mind that. Actually, it's quite pleasing. Well, it's not pleasing, but it's not terrible. It's not very overpowering. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me. So straight away I can already tell that this has like a high medium coverage. It's not very full coverage, at least on my skin, because I have a lot of redness around my face, and I also have this kind of black pigmentation, like a dark pigmentation around here, and this foundation doesn't really cover that up. So yeah, it's like a medium coverage. On my forehead, I can tell it looks flawless, but around my cheek area, which is one of my most problematic area on my face, because a lot of my acne scars are around here and here, the side of my face. So this is not looking that great around my cheek area. It's not bad, and I can only tell if I look really closely to the mirror, but if I look a little bit far away from here, it's looking flawless. I think the color matches me quite nicely. I think this matches my neck. I think it's pretty matte because I don't really see a lot of shine peeking through, but it's not like a very dry matte. It's not feeling heavy at all on my skin, and I don't really feel like I have foundation on my face yet. I think I'm gonna put on a second layer, but I'm going to apply this side first to see how the coverage and the finish looks with the brush. I'm just going to apply this to this side with the brush. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this side with the brush definitely has some more coverage to it, and surprisingly, the difference between these two finishes is nothing major really, because usually I prefer applying foundation with my beauty blender because it looks more flawless, but this foundation with this brush, I think the finish still looks pretty flawless, especially around my forehead. I don't really see big difference in terms of the finish, but the coverage is better on this side. So I think applying this foundation with the brush is better, at least for me. I really like applying this foundation with the brush on my cheeks. It actually kind of helps to fill in the scars and the pores a little bit. It kind of masks the scars a little bit more, so it's not as visible as this side, and it just looks a little bit more smooth on this side with the brush, except on my nose area, because in this area here it looks smoother on the beauty blender side, but in this side I can really see the dry patches around my nose with the brush. So I think if you have a very dry skin, you will like to apply this foundation with the beauty blender more, but if you have a slightly dry to oily skin, I think you will like this with a brush, at least I do. So yeah, I'm just going to apply some more to my face to give this side especially a little bit more coverage, and for the rest of my face I'm just going to apply some more with this brush, and then I'm going to blend a little bit more with the beauty blender just to give it a little bit more flawless finish. So yeah. Just based on first impressions, I really like this foundation. I really like the feeling and the finish of it. It makes my skin looks like smooth, and even on my cheek area where I have a lot of scars, with the brush doesn't really accentuate any of my scars. The beauty blender, maybe because it's kind of sheared down the coverage a little bit, doesn't really makes my skin looks better with the scars and everything. And on the second layer, I think if you don't have a lot of textures on your skin, it's fine to build this up to the second layer and to have that more of a full coverage. But on me, even after 2 layers, it's still not a very full coverage looking foundation, like around medium high coverage. It covered up a lot, but if you have very red skin and dark pigmentation on your face, it still kind of picture a little bit like this side of my face and a little bit on these two right here. On the second layer, I started to notice like the foundation started clinging on certain areas on my cheek, and it doesn't look as flawless as the first layer. So that's just something to keep in mind. I don't think it will look good with third layer, so I'm just going to stop here. And my suggestion is, if you want to layer this foundation, maybe work one side of your face at a time, because as I noticed, it didn't dry as fast as the L'Oreal Pro Matte foundation, but it still dried down quite fast. So when the foundation kind of dried down, the second layer won't look as good, which is why you have to work a little bit fast and work one side at a time if you want to layer this foundation. The scent is completely gone after I blend them to my face. I don't really smell the weird scent anymore, and it doesn't really bother me. I don't know if it's gonna... I hope it's not gonna cause me any breakout because of the scent. I'm quite scared actually, because I have a very sensitive and acne prone skin. But foundation itself, the consistency is not very liquidy, but it's not thick either. Based on first impression, I'm quite impressed with this foundation, especially because it's really affordable. I quite like the coverage. I think it will be a very nice foundation for everyday basis. It does kind of look like skin, but better. It doesn't really look like you have a mask, so that's great. I'm just going to finish the rest of my face, and I'm going to be back. I'm back and I finished up my makeup, and yeah, this is just something very warm. And if you want to see all the products I used for this makeup look, I'm going to list everything down below as per usual. So it's around 12 o'clock right now. I don't know if you can see, but and I have to say I really like this foundation after I applied all the rest of my makeup, because everything lays on top of this foundation very nicely. Everything blends very nicely, from bronzer to blush to concealer, which is I use the liquid camouflage concealer from Catrice. The concealer blends in nicely with the foundation, and then I set my face with powder, and everything after that blends very nicely on top of it. One thing I noticed right after I finished up my makeup is the color kind of darkened up a little bit. Maybe it oxidizes a tiny bit, maybe it's just dried down and the color changes, because that's usually what happens with liquid. When it's wet and when it's dried down, the color can be different. I'm curious to see if it's gonna continue to darken as the day goes on, or if it's gonna stay this way. I don't know if you can see, but this is the foundation. It's freshly applied here on the back of my hand, and in this one here is the foundation after it dries down quite a while. And as you can see, this right here is a little bit darker. So yeah, I'll see you in my next checkup. Hi guys, I'm back with the first check-in. So it's almost 6:30 p.m. I know when I showed you what time it was 12 o'clock, but that was after I applied the rest of my makeup. So basically, since the first time I finished up the foundation, it's been almost 7 hours. I would say for 7 hours, honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised. I really like this foundation because I don't really expect much. It's still on my face. I know my face started to look really oily, especially on my cheek area, but that's always happened even with my L'Oreal Pro Matte, even with the Maybelline Fit Me, so that's pretty normal for me. But the most important thing is on the rest of my face, even in parts where I have looking very oily on my cheek area here, foundation still there. It doesn't worn off, it's not separating or anything like that. And the weird thing is, I have to say, around my nose area where it originally looking a little bit cracky, there's quite a few dry patches there, but now after I got a little bit oilier, my nose area actually looks a little bit better. I don't know why, maybe because it's not as dry anymore, but yeah, the rest of my face is still pretty nice. The coverage still there, and especially if you look closely to my forehead, it looks awesome. I cannot believe it's been on my face for 7 hours. It's not slip and slide everywhere. Even when the oiliness of my face is coming through, the only parts where the foundation is missing basically is just on the tip of my nose and a little bit here on my cheek because I scratched them off. It's not because the foundation is just gone. It's because it was itchy, so I scratched them. And yeah, I forgot that I put on foundation today. Right now I'm going to go out with my mom. She wanted to find some shoes. Maybe if I'm not too tired, I'm going to sit here again and give you my final thoughts. And I didn't touch up or anything throughout the day. I only put on some face powder when the first time I put on my makeup, because that's usually what I do anyway. But now I'm going to put some more powder and we'll see if it's gonna look better or not or whatever. So I'm back with last check-in, and right now it's 10 p.m. and so that means the foundation has been on my face for more than 10 hours, like 10.5 hours. I usually only put on foundation for like 8 hours. For what it's worth, I do think the foundation still somehow looks pretty nice. It is already started to, separate it into a lot more areas, but on this side, on the outer part of my face, it still looks pretty nice, but on the center of my face it's basically already start to move around and start to look a lot more heavy. It's looking very oily and shiny, obviously because I have very oily skin. After 8 hours, every single foundation will start to look like this or even worse. So this is not bad at all. I hope this foundation won't break me out, because I started to notice it kind of feels a little bit itchy in some parts, especially my cheek area, and I have a very sensitive skin, so maybe that's just my skin being too sensitive. I think I will give this foundation an A-. It's not oxidizing at all, so the color does get darkened a little bit at first, but it's just because the foundation is drying down. But after that, I don't really notice the shade really darken up, and for my skin, this is amazing, so I really like this. So that's it for today's video. I really do hope this video can somewhat help you if you decide whether or not to buy this foundation. Honestly, I will say just go for it, because I really do like this. I think it's worth every penny. And leave me a comment down below, what foundation should I try next, because I really want to try a lot more foundation, especially from the drugstore. And yeah, I hope you like this video, and if you do, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Yeah, I usually have a darker forehead anyway. I don't know why, but check up. It sits nicely on top of my skin, on top of all of these acne scars, and